Hello, my friends, and good morning. Good morning to you. It's great to see you again here on the Impact Money Show. We're broadcasting live from Washington, D.C., where the sun's just peeking over the horizon on the crisp March 11th, 2025. It's 6:15 a.m., 42 degrees outside with a light breeze off the Potomac, and the cherry blossoms are teasing us with a hint of pink. Spring's knocking, but this town's too busy wrestling with chaos to notice. I'm your host, Bruce Porter Jr., and today we've got a front row seat to the world where money, power, and madness collide. And trust me, it is a wild one. Before we dive in, let's take a quick victory lap. On Friday, we threw the White House Crypto Summit after party with none other than our friend Brock Pierce, crypto pioneer, visionary, and a guy who knows how to shake up the room. It was a smash. Hundreds of you joined us right here in DC, from the blockchain buffs to the Capitol Hill insiders, swapping ideas on how digital assets are rewriting the rules of money. The energy was electric, the conversations were fire, and we're still buzzing from it. And if that wasn't enough, we're gearing up for something even bigger. Bitcoin Palooza! March 19th at the Sugar Mouse in New York City, smack in the middle of Digital Assets Week. It's going to be a blowout. Crypto's biggest names, boldest bets, and chance to see where this revolution's headed next. Mark your calendars because we're just getting started. Now let's get to the meat of it. Washington's waking up to a hangover that's more than just last night's bourbon. Yesterday, Wall Street took a sledgehammer to the gut. S&P 500 down 2.7%. NASDAQ tanked over 3.5%. The Dow shed nearly 900 points. Worst day of 2025 so far, folks. A $4 trillion wipeout since last month's peak. That was per Reuters. Why? Donald Trump's tariffs tango has everyone on edge. He's been swinging threats to China, Canada, Mexico like a piñata stick, and then backtracking after market screamed bloody murder. On Fox News Sunday, he dodged recession questions. It's a transition, not a crash, he said. But Goldman Sachs isn't buying it, bumping into recession odds to 20%, while JP Morgan's at a grim 40%. Tesla's down over 50% from its high, and investors are asking, is this a trade war or a train wreck? Let me just shift my. See. I still have to figure this one out. I still have to figure out this. I think I got to do my drop down here. Boom. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. Here in D.C., the tariff whiplash is just the appetizer. Trump's pushing a full year continuing resolution, funding the government through September 30th, 2025 at 2024's $1.7 trillion levels. And he's got Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, barking at his side. Yesterday on Hannity, Trump said, pass the CR now. We need stability to keep America great. While Musk claimed dogs sniffed out $700 billion in waste. Social Security, Medicare, you name it. No receipts yet, just vibes. But here's the disconnect that's got tongues wagging. This CR funds all the junk that they've been cutting. $1.2 billion for USAID's climate nonsense, as Trump called it on March 4 in Congress. And those entitlements, Musk slashing, Social Security down 7,000 jobs already. Doge cheered it, but audits say overpayments are less than 1%. Where's the beef? And here's the thing, like all the work that's been going on to slash all of this stuff is completely funded in this CR. I have been in Washington long enough to know that if this CR passes, and you know what, guys, it probably will, the days of shrinking government and cutting is over. It's over before it even started. That is just the truth of it. Enter the rebels, Thomas Massie and Rand Paul, the Kentucky duo, throwing sand in the gears. Massie's a hard no on the CR. tweeting March 9th, it's a cut and copy paste omnibus that keeps the waste flowing. Yesterday, he fired back at Trump's X-Blast, calling him a grandstander. Guess what? Doesn't work on me. Rand Paul's even louder. The Senate, hell no, he says. Slamming it on X March 10th as a slap in the face to taxpayers. $2 trillion more debt, funding loony U.S. aid programs like Ukrainian influencers from his Festivus report. He's pushing a $500 billion rescission package, but Trump's brushing it off. D.C. insiders whisper the truth. If this CR passes on March 14, Doge, a dog without a bite. And that's what I just said. It's over, guys. Locked in, no big cuts, just nibbles. Shutdowns, the alternative. 12:01 a.m. Saturday, March 15th. Lights out. 800,000 furloughed by Monday. Trash piles up. Here, parks closed. The IRS grinds to a halt. Stability or stalemate. Guys, isn't that what we need? I mean, let's be realistic here. What did we vote for? Isn't that what we voted for? Cutting and everything else. I tell you, as clear as I sit here on this show, if they pass the CR, it's over. Doge is not going to cut anything meaningful. We're not going to shrink the government. You can't say you're going to shrink the government and then fund everything. If you fund everything, you fund everything. That's it. That's how it works, guys. That's how it works. Markets are twitching. Futures this morning say rebound. Dow up 0.31%. NASDAQ up 0.457%. S&P up 0.37%. Bargain hunters pounced. NASDAQ's RSI dipped below 30 yesterday, a buy signal. And Trump's team, think Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, hinted late Monday at tariffs compromises with Canada and Mexico. X-Post clocked a 400-point NASDAQ 100 swing overnight. NASDAQ futures. Tesla, NVIDIA, and Apple are back in play, but the U.S. dollar is down 0.35% on the DXY at 103.45, and the yen's off 0.11. Carry trade worries are in the air. Wall Street's been borrowing cheap yen to juice stocks. A weaker dollar or Japan rate hikes could unwind that fast. Is this a dead cat bounce or a lifeline? As well, Bitcoin, the mighty Bitcoin, pushing up from its low, went down to 76,622 yesterday. If you were watching, up considerably, 81,600 right now. A nice 6% move from the bottom. Still in the red, showing a 0.5 down from yesterday. You know how these things work. What to expect from the world's largest cryptocurrency? Of course, the altcoin market is following suit. Everything red at the moment. Could be green, though, as the day goes on. I guess more than likely will be green as the day goes on. XRP, whispers of XRP going down to $1 again. It hit 189 during that dip. It's at 213 now. Where it goes from here is, anyone's guess. Charts say we should be in this final wave up. Of course, if we're removing all from the market, which is what I've been saying, if we're moving all this liquidity from the market, I've been screaming we got a problem here. But if Doge is not able to cut all this stuff from the market, then the printing press keeps going, and we don't have to worry about liquidity issues. And not only does this CR, I told you, it funds the Ukrainian influencers. I mean, it's like crazy. It's crazy, guys. It's absolutely crazy. I've been in Washington long enough to know how all this stuff works. Across the Pacific, Asian markets are down, but not out. Nikkei is off 0.8%. Kospi is 0.6%. Hang Seng 0.3%. Tariff fog and U.S. spillovers hit them, but they're not crashing. China's CSI 300 barely down 0.1%, clinging to stimulus hopes. A turnaround? Maybe. If Wall Street opens green and the DC dodges a shutdown cliff, gold's at 29.14, up about 0.5%. Silver's at 32.38, up about 0.3%. Safe haven bids as the dollar softens and the Ukraine war rages on. Speaking of which, overnight, Ukraine slammed Moscow with 337 drones. 91 downed over the region, Russia says. One of the biggest attacks yet. Putin's foreign minister hinting at intensifying U.S. talks. Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, might meet him this week. Trump's ceasefire push is live. He told Fox yesterday he trusts Putin over Ukraine. He was pitching a partial truce today. On the ground, Russia is hammering Donetsk and Kharkov, 25 dead Sunday, retaking Kursk in the north with North Korean boots. Trump's intel pause since February, biting Kiev supply lines, and markets felt it yesterday. DC's watching. Could this tip the CR scale or just bleed Ukraine dry? Back stateside. On a darker note, InfoWars reporter Jamie White was murdered Sunday night in Austin. The city's 8th homicide of 2025. ADP's tight-lipped. No suspect, no motive, but Alex Jones is raging, blaming Soros-backed DA Jose Garza's policies on X yesterday. Some whisper it's tied to InfoWars Israel Mossad bombshell with Ian Carroll. His March 5 Rogan clip claiming Epstein was a Mossad went viral. 21 million views. Timing is tight. 4 days before White's death, but no evidence links it. Conspiracy or a crime spike? DC's too entangled in its own mess to care, but it's got tongues wagging. Tech's not sleeping either. Microsoft chasing OpenAI with AI reasoning models per Reuters last night, eyeing developer sales. CoreWeave's $12 billion OpenAI cloud deal shows the race is on. DC's Arlington HQT could see a boost. HQ2. London's Meld Graph AI is spotting epilepsy brain glitches, a $1 trillion healthcare market by 2030. China's Tencent dropped Hunyuan Turbo S, outpacing DeepSeek. Tariffs might hit that too. Robotics, Xpeng's Iron Bot assembling EVs, aiming for flying cars by 2026, while Unitree's $16,000 G1 does kung fu kicks. China's edge could pressure our wobbly markets. So what's the play? Washington's a tightrope. Trump and Musk claim that they want the CR, but Massey and Paul could crash it. Markets are guessing, metals are hedging, and the war's rattling the cage. We're here to cut through the noise. Money's on the line and we're not blinking. Stick with us because this is the Impact Money Show. And the stakes just keep climbing. It really is something else, guys. It is something else. I am super excited about the DXY is starting to climb a little bit here. Bitcoin. I'm super excited about our Bitcoin Palooza in New York City next Wednesday. Bitcoin Palooza. Check it out. Here's the site. Let me see. No. If I do like this, I make it. Nope. There we go. All right. Bitcoin Palooza. Here we are. Bitcoin Palooza. NYC, March 19th. Because this is at the Sugar Mouse, as I said, about Bitcoin Palooza. Bitcoin Palooza is an electrifying celebration of everything that makes Bitcoin unique, culture unique. Held during the 2025 Digital Asset Summit, we're turning the Sugar Mouse into a hub for music, art, fashion, and cutting-edge blockchain technology. Whether you're a seasoned Bitcoin enthusiast or new to the world of digital assets, Bitcoin Palooza is the place to be for an unforgettable experience. Get ready, the groundbreaking fusion of music art, and fashion, all powered by the revolutionary world of Bitcoin technology and vibrant and degen culture. Experience Bitcoin Palooza. It's not just an event, it's an experience that brings together creators, innovators, and crypto enthusiasts in the heart of New York City. Live music, join out with top DJs, jam out with top DJs and artists who are redefining the sound of the crypto and degen communities. Connect with like-minded individuals, creators, and influencers in the world of Bitcoin and digital assets. Of course, this is March 19th, my friend, March 19th. Learn, gain insights into Bitcoin's impact on culture, art, culture, and the future of the digital economy. Be part of history. Bitcoin Palooza is more than just an event. It's a movement that celebrates the evolution of money and culture. Of course, we have some of our sponsors here. They're just really lining up. We put it together fairly quickly, as we do sometimes. Bitcoin Palooza, New York City. Super excited about it. I am going to play here what we did the other day with my good friend Vin Menon, because they are doing their launch on the exchange on the 20th. So we'll be talking about these guys here at the summit, or at the Bitcoin Palooza. Let me see mine way down. Okay. Hold on a second here. Just find it. X took a big hit yesterday. X took a big hit. I don't even really have... That stuff is just not even playing, those old broadcasts. Yeah, so X took a big hit yesterday. As you probably know, they were under massive attack. Same time as this guy got capped over in Austin. Really just horrible. So I guess... Oh, here we go. Yeah, I guess I can't play... All right. Yeah, so it's not... It's funny because the time changed. So normally, of course, I have my good friend and partner, Matt, join us right now. But I don't have him because the time change. He says, "What do you mean, Bruce? What's going on? It's not time yet." I go, "No, it is. It is. It's time." All right. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to play my interview with Heli Yildiz. This is a great interview. This was from the Global Family Office Investment Summit.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're here with the Impact Money Show, live on location at the Global Family Office Investment Summit. I have with me here Hala Yildiz. She is the founder and CEO of Lumia Partners. And I think you're local, right?
No, I'm not.
You're not? Okay.
No. I live in Luxembourg, moving to Dubai. Very not local.
Yeah, and Luxembourg is one of those places I've never been before.
It's the fund industry, right? That's how people make funds in Europe.
They make the funds out of Luxembourg. We have our fund out of Luxembourg. That's what they always say. Sounds so official. Yeah, very true. So tell me a little bit about Lumina Partners and what brought you here to the summit.
Sure. I mean, so I'm a part of the fund industry, as expected. I lived around 8 years in Europe, in Luxembourg, and I was a part of the biggest LP in Europe. So it's the European Investment Fund. We were looking at VC and private equity funds invest in the context of European policy priorities. So that's everything that is defense, climate, diversity, and things like that. So I came out of that environment from the buy side to the sell side. So now I'm working with emerging fund managers to help them raise their fund and help them present it to LPs in the best possible way, which is the most challenging job in the industry currently. Is fundraising for an emerging fund manager, which is the first and second time fund. And I'm also helping companies from from Series A to pre-IPO raise capital, also expand into new markets like Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and most recently Saudi Arabia. I have partnerships in the region. And so that's kind of a little bit what I do.
Well, it sounds so exciting. How long have you been doing this?
Yeah, it's good. So my Lumia Partners, my core business, is 1 year old. Okay. I've left my corporate job in the European Investment Fund 1 year ago. So I was there for a little bit over 5 years. Now, really happy to be independent, doing very interesting deals, looking at very interesting products like space tech, building rockets, some founders that are building middle mile logistics that are bigger than a helicopter, kind of like an airplane transporting like 1 ton of goods, looking at robo labs that are doing stem cell research. Very interesting projects I'm really excited about.
Well, yeah, that sounds so. It's the whole gamut. I mean, you're like sustainability and defense.
Well,
we're gonna keep them alive.
Less defense, more sustainability.
Yeah, it is really interesting. So is this your first time at a Global Family Office event? Or?
It's the second time. I went to the one in Dubai. Similar setup, different people. I think both ecosystems, they bring together global wealth. That's what the conference is about. And obviously I want to meet here global family offices. Family offices tend to be the best capital around. They're much more liquid than anybody else. They have more patience when it comes to investment cycles or commercialization cycles. So when I bring deep tech projects that are not going to go commercial for 8 years, that's family offices, not VCs, that I need to go to. And I think family offices are kind of becoming the foundation of deep tech investments. And I think they're very, very impactful, actually. So
that's really interesting. I mean, AI is something, there's not a day that goes by when I don't use AI, right? I feed every email through AI. I even short responses. I'm like, why not you just do it?
I have like an AI, basically an AI employee at the moment. So who's doing a lot of my admin stuff for me.
Well, it's interesting. OpenAI now has the new deal. It's like $200 and it'll just send all your emails and everything. It's basically autonomously handle your stuff.
Yeah, there's going to be consolidation. Now OpenAI is getting into the agentic space. A lot of other agents are going to consolidate into bigger agents. So a part of my fund, actually, I'm a part of a fund that is doing AI enterprise tech investments, venture partner there. And we're really looking at those application layer solutions that actually have use case in the future, not today, because a founder needs to live in the future, not today, right? Now we look for those founders that live in the future that can kind of navigate that complexity and consolidation and stuff that's happening in the market, and actually build useful tools for enterprise businesses, because otherwise it's B2C and that's on a decline. Big guys can do that too. So
interesting. Well, now Dubai is one of my favorite places in the world. I've been there many times. So it sounds like that's going to be your base of operations.
Yeah, sure. I have business there now. There's a lot of opportunity. Unfortunately, a lot of Europeans are moving to the GCC because Europe is fragmented. It's going through some changes and challenges right now. And we're finding a lot of opportunity in GCC. Part of what I'm doing there is building the future along with people who are building the future in the GCC. So I'm working with the global family, like global priorities, the 2030, 2050 visions of the region. That is really sustainability, like electrified mobility, health tech, and food security solutions and stuff. And I think they're really, if anyone's going to find solutions to these things and build a futuristic kind of environment, it's going to be really that region where capital meets, priorities. So
where capital meets priorities, and they have the ability to really just get things done. I mean, it's one of the things. They're like, okay, we're going to make this new law, and like literally 3 weeks later,
forget about democracy.
It's law.
Sure,
that's
exactly.
it.
I think a lot of the democracy things are overrated currently when you want to make good decisions. But the problem is when you make bad decisions, right? So you need like those people who are far-sighted, those leaders who have that vision, and I believe GCC has that vision to actually execute on important things that matter for humanity.
Yeah, it's a very interesting point because we have recently elected Donald Trump over here. And I mean, by a lot of people's explanation, he's a dictator, he's a this and that and the other. But there is kind of this whole strong man or strong personality way that seems to work in today's environment, pushing things forward. So
I do agree, and I mean, Donald Trump 8 years ago, I wouldn't have voted for him, but I think currently he was one of the best options that came out of the context that we're in. But I do agree. I think he does get things done, and I think he has a more leaner way of getting things done. I'm really interested to see what happens in the next 4 years in the U.S. Maybe I consider moving to Miami instead. I don't know.
Oh, wow. It's funny that you say that because it's actually something my friends that are in Dubai now that we've been doing business there for the last decade or so, and they're living there, and they're like, Bruce, it's all about the U.S. now. I want to get back into the U.S. Because of course you have less regulation. You have people aren't scared to do things, and you have a strong person behind it. So it's really interesting line of business that you have. How did you get into doing this?
Well, like I said, I fell into the VC world through Europe's biggest institutional LP. Okay. And so the asset class there, I mean, I realized way later that the asset class that everybody's investing in is actually the startups. Yeah. And that's what got me interested. I always come from a development finance background, so I did a lot of development work also in the finance. So everything meets development means finance is really European investment fund. Mm-hmm. And there, so I met this interesting setup where LPs invest in GPs and GPs invest in startups, and that's how like the entire innovation economy blossoms, right? So, and Europe, thanks to the EIF, actually, a lot of innovation happened. So I really liked being in the forefront of that because there we saw things that were coming that people in the bottom of the value chain saw years later, but the policy was being made basically up there. So it was very interesting to see that policy being made and those priorities being made and those investments being planned years in advance. And you see the fruits of that 2-3 years later, actually in the ecosystem.
Pretty amazing. So tell me maybe some closing thoughts. How do people get a hold of you? And where do you go from here?
Well, I'm in LinkedIn. I haven't even had website presence yet. I don't have a website yet. My business is quite recent. It's 1 year old, and I have lots of business, so it's going well. If you want to reach me, I'm in LinkedIn. I think it's the best way to reach me. If you want any advice on expanding to the Middle East, I'm very happy to help. If you want advice on capital raising, anything that has to do with fundraising or also raising a fund and the VC ecosystem as a whole, very happy to talk. And yeah.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
See you soon.
Fantastic, Bruce. It's always a treat to see you, and it's always a pleasure.
Well, it was really an amazing moment when you reached out to me the other day. And I know, we've gone back and forth over the years. Life happens. I'm on one side of the world. You're on one side of the world, like ships in the night as we go, right? But you reached out and you have put together this, with help, I see, this Lives Amplified program, livesamplified.org. And it's super special. And this is a brand that you've been working with for a long time, right? Lives Amplified. So tell me a little bit, first of all, about what brought you to this point, and then a little bit more about Lives Amplified.
Sure. Well, just minor correction, but it's a major in my mind. This is not something that I put together. I mean, something like that on the global scale, of course, it requires a lot of people, and there's been a group that's been working together for quite some time, which we could talk about in a bit. But it is amazing, and the whole concept of elevating humanity, amplifying lives. I mean, at the end of the day, this is what gives all of us sustainable happiness, right? I mean, we satisfy our own needs, but then the mind always needs something else. But when we kind of take care of others, that's very sustainable, and so it's been a theme of my life for quite some time, and you're correct, and even when we met originally in Washington D.C., that has been the theme as well, and so we kind of continue in that direction, and but as we all evolve and as the world evolves around us, of course, what and how we do follows. So this is yet another element and another chapter in the evolution of trying to create a platform where we're all are able to come in and do what we do, but on a kind of higher impact level. In terms of how I got to it, I mean, we had, I remember originally when we met, we had kind of a very interesting conversation in this regard, but I'm originally from Ukraine. I came as a refugee over 30 years ago. And so the concept of, working with people who come from nothing and want to get somewhere, it's not a theoretical conversation in my life. And yeah, and it's been an amazing ride. I'm grateful to this country. I got education here. I worked with the world's largest consulting firm and focused in capital markets, and did my stint, as they said, and it was quite uniquely successful. And the firm sponsored me to all these executive degree programs, actually, the first time in the history of this world's largest firm, which was really humbling and honoring experience. And I served as an advisor to one of the subgroups of U.S. Treasury Department when I led this initiative in my firm for kind of dealing with financial crimes and other things. And then ultimately I decided, this was nice, and it's time kind of for semi-retirement, although it was rather early age. And I wanted to give back, so I went back to academia to give back to the school where, I kind of started this whole journey once I immigrated to this wonderful country. And I've been there for over 25 years, as this is the largest business school in the United States. And I'm honored and proud to be there as a tenured professor, programs director, which I actually helped build.
No, wait, what university is that?
It's part of City University of New York. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's out of New York City. Yeah, so it's been a real treat, and it's been real blessing. And I served in many capacities to give back in any way and every way I can, including as a regulator, as a chair of, or also a member of executive committee of AICPA that regulates CPAs and personal financial planning professionals, U.S., Canada, and kind of many other roles, and founded actually a bar association for attorneys, first from Eastern Europe, and then became national. So that was a real treat. And was coming up for tenure, was asked to write a book, which did really well and became bestseller in multiple categories. So it's been a long journey, and ultimately what got me to do what I do around the world is really my students, frankly speaking. After the first class of each semester, there would always be a few students who would come to me and say something along the lines of, Professor Malik, we appreciate you teaching law and business and all that other stuff, but we Googled you and you came here just like ours, just like we did, with nothing as an immigrant, and just teach us how to be successful. I mean, you've done this on Wall Street and academia, and I had my own TV radio show of some time in the community and other things, and bar association and publication. Like, how does it happen? And I never had a good answer to them, and ultimately, it translated into something that I ended up calling counterintuitive intelligence, basically, and taught it around the world, as you may remember. We met actually in a few places around the world when I was giving these talks, and ended up coaching some of the Fortune 500 executives, and then ended up, as an advisor to a few presidents, prime ministers, and as they say, the rest is history. And then I was asked to participate in global leaders forums, and my co-director, ran Davos Events World Economic Forum for many, many years, that director. And so it's been also a blessing. So we've been putting together heads of states and help promote countries and bring opportunities into the countries into the world. And it's I thank God every day I wake up. It's a blessing to be able to do these things and meet amazing people like yourself who do incredible work, by the way. Compliments to you on your programming. I have been watching, and it's wonderful. People need information, and the more the better.
Well, I appreciate it. I think one of the things that you do so well, and I see it as a theme, even if you look at world leaders, is you connect. You connect with world leaders. You connect with the workers. You are able to connect, and maybe part of that comes from being a refugee, right? And then coming up through, and then as a tenured professor, as you say, I mean, it's a heck of a journey, right? Anybody would be proud of it. And then continuing to help more people, and that's that's something else. I won't name someone's names at the moment, but when you look at some of these successful politicians, when you look at some of these successful people in the world, that's what they're able to do.
They're able to connect. People feel like they relate to them, even if they don't have anything in common with them, right? In a way, like they have way more money than them. They have connections that they don't have, but they're able to connect with those people. And you've done that very well over the years. My compliments on that.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. I mean, it's always nice and beneficial to have been there and have done that, right? And so whoever we engage with, especially if you really want to have an impact, you have to work with masses, right? But you have to understand the pain and suffering people go through. And I mean, my first shopping in the United States for furniture happened in Brooklyn, in Ocean Parkway, and it was every Monday, by the way, because that's when people would put out furniture they wanted to throw out, literally. And that was our furniture. That's how we started. And my first job when I came to this country, I literally cleaned bathrooms with my mother as a first job, speaking no English. I sat through, business school with a dictionary, and
Wow.
and I would record every lecture. I would come home, translate every word, or practically, because we came here no English at all. I mean, I knew 5 usual staple words. So, but it's been a blessing, and one thing I've learned, in this country, and I thank God every day I wake up. I thank God my kids were born here. Sometimes I still have dreams of living, in former Soviet Union. And I wake up like, okay, was this all a dream? So I understand what people are going through. I've gone through it, and I know also what it takes, and I know what the opportunities are. And so when I, see and hear, I kind of process it from my personal experience, and I understand, and that helps, because sometimes also, you could get very much disconnected from reality. So I could see this in many different levels. I see it in academia. I mean, some of the colleagues, are so esoteric and so numbers driven. Sometimes they just live in the world that doesn't exist in reality. And there's beautiful papers get published that nobody even reads, but there's something to hang. And if you want to have impact, nobody cares about, what your interest is. The point is what's the pain point, and what can you do to solve that and contribute to elevating humanity, if that's the scale, or on the most basic level. I mean, we started the society with with the concept of doing just that, elevating humanity. But a lot of people want to save the world, but their own house is a mess, and so our approach and informing it, society with many people is look, you got to take care of your home. I mean, there's a reason why when you get on the airplane, they say, put a mask on yourself before you take care of your children or others. And it's not because they don't matter. It's just that if you cannot take care of yourself, you cannot help anybody else. So we kind of, there's an expression in few religions, you got to keep your head up in the sky, with bigger things, but your feet have to be firmly planted in the ground. And that's how I try to walk and talk and do, and try to kind of encourage others to do the same.
So there was a point in your career, and I may have been witness to some of those. I have been witness to some of them. Where it kind of took the turn, or where it developed, is an interesting question to me, or to hear your answer to. But there was a certain point when you went from helping businesses, working with different corporations, to actually working with heads of state, working with world leaders, working with people who were trying to make their own countries. What happened at that point? And if you could describe maybe your thought process that was going on at that point.
The question about transitioning, is that the question?
Yes.
I started, when I started in Wall Street, and, I became a CPA, and then the firm sponsored me to executive degree in law. So I got my doctorate, postdoctorate. So I've done, I ran a firm that was practicing nationally, bearing my name. And it was always cool, but I would always ask a question to myself every now and then: am I doing what I should do? Like I try not to go on autopilot ever. I actually been talking, my youngest son's friends flew in, and they were visiting us, and they were asking me questions, and one of the questions was like, what do you think? What do you think the formula? What do you think, like, you've done really right? And they expected me to talk about certain direction, profession, this, and the reality is, what really worked for me is not to ever to go on autopilot, no matter how successful it is, no matter how good it is. And I've been blessed. Anything I've been involved in kind of tend to work well. So, and usually that sucks you in, and you just get kind of complacent, and you continue to develop. If it works, especially, why not? And with me, it was never the case, and the same with the personal level, by the way, with my wife. So I would always stop, every now and then, and say, okay, am I doing what I should be doing, and where I should be doing? The same with personal life. Are we doing the right thing? Should we have another kid? Are the kids doing the right thing? Should we get them involved in something else? Should we drastically change where we live? Because I always I cannot kind of deal with complacency, so to speak, no matter on what level it is. And so this question, and ultimately, like Maslow theory, right? When you take care of your basic needs and food, shelter, clothing, you always think about, okay, what bigger thing, what self-actualization, is element of it is missing, and what impact can we have? And so what really kind of been driving me and guiding me is, am I using the time that I have in this world, and my energy and my health, right? Because everything's interconnected, in a way that maximizes the impact and results. And so that was the question I kept always asking myself. Again, personal, business, family, and our kids at some point would laugh, actually, because we would go away with my wife once in a while, just a couple of days. And then as we have fun, we always talk about, and we sometimes come back, okay, guys, we're moving.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly how it was. But it also, you need kind of to come out from your normal routine, because the mind is so wound up. So sometimes you don't think clearly, right? That's why, it's good to pause, or just to relax, take a few days before you make some, major decisions. So anyway, to answer your question, Bruce, is it was always about, am I doing where, I generate the biggest impact? And this was kind of a natural progression, small business, medium, okay, helping transform businesses nationally, locally, around the world. And then, well, what else comes? And ultimately, I was blessed while helping businesses. Some of them asked me to engage with some governments and kind of negotiate and things. And that's when some governments noticed me. And that's how, it was all natural progression, basically. The beauty of this life is if you put out, the right, good things, right, and right energy, and you also set your mind in certain direction, things kind of evolve, and it's been naturally evolving process for me. And you're right. One of the many blessings that I've had is also, ultimately, to move from kind of having an impact on local, national business, individuals, some families, right, that wanted me to help them represent their interests. Sometimes, some people don't want to stay in the back and have somebody handle things. But also beyond that, on the kind of country level. And you're right. Also, one thing that kind of came into my world is also help kind of develop countries and even create countries. And that's one of the big focus areas for me now as well. And this is where society also gets involved, because, there's a lot of tools in the box that society has to help countries develop. And we do that. And we kind of, this is very exciting path.
It is. It's a very exciting path. And, for many, a lot of people will watch this. You'll watch it on your TV, maybe in Texas or Louisiana, or you'll watch it streaming around the world. It'll probably get replayed, so people all over the world will watch it. But if you haven't traveled around the world, it a lot of times you don't realize that there's new things happening all the time, and that there are new countries that are being birthed, and there are these new relationships and ended, right? I mean, unfortunately or fortunately. So I always thought that was very interesting. And then if you fast forward, you talk about the evolution of things into this now Lives Amplified that you have right now. You have multiple former heads of state on here. I'm sure that you have heads of state that are involved. Like you said, you can't list those ones on there. You can't have those affiliations. Let's talk a little bit more about that. Let's talk about Lives Amplified and how the value add for people that may be watching.
Yeah, well, I'll start at the end, and then we'll move backwards. But in terms of value add, Lives Amplified has three major focus areas and categories. We do want to impact the world and improve lives of people around the world, well-being of humanity, and that's kind of one focus area. And it sounds crazy when people have these conversations, and people who talk about trying to change lives and impact. The crazy people usually end up doing it. I believe Steve Jobs said it at some point, right? So it's been a treat in that regards, and that's kind of one direction. Another direction is, and then along that way to help those who try to do that and give them the platform. Another element is business, right? I mean, I come from former Soviet Union, so I know, the nonprofit is very important. Kind of the social element of it's critical, but as long as somebody is there to pay the bill, that's another, massive person of this life, Margaret Thatcher, who said that, it's all good as long as there is somebody paying the bill or something like that. So there's a big focus on access, connections, networking, and everything else. And the third element is, which is as important, to be honest with you, is just personal fulfillment and life and joy. We don't believe in taking life too seriously, because otherwise it gets shorter than it already is. So with every engagement, with every event, we have some very, very special experiences, and our guests and members have amazing time. And so, and one thing to understand also, now I kind of, so that's kind of the value, so to speak. And there's a lot under each element. And you are correct. It's amazing group. If you look at, the board, we do have, I believe it's the largest gathering of heads of states outside of the United Nations in the business setting. And you are correct. We have current and former heads of states on the board and involved with the society. And we even future, like somebody you're showing now, by the way, President Tuto from Bolivia. He served as a president. Amazing gentleman, and he recently announced that he's going to run again, and we're quite sure he's going to win again. So we try not to keep, and we don't keep on the board current heads of states, because that has not certain consequences. So if he does win, he's going to have to step out and do his tenure, and then as others then come back. But we do have also people who are senior government dignitaries who are involved with the society, and members of the society, and honorary members of the society, including ambassadors, including consul generals, current, representing many countries from around the world. And some of them, you could find on the website, and of course there are many others. And so, and the whole thing, it has always been kind of a private network, as it's usually the case. And the groups, and in different shapes and forms, been doing a lot of amazing work in humanitarian format, in business around the world. And of course, some names are more recognizable than others. And we have representation from all across the world. I mean, there's Europe, Asia, Africa, Latin America, Caribbean, right? So, which is critical and important. And so, and over the years, people have been learning and wanting to be involved. And it's a quite recent phenomena. The decision was made very, very recently to formalize kind of the engagement organization, and this is the counterintuitive part, to have a bigger impact on the world, to really step back for the group and serve more as a platform that enables great people with great hearts, first and foremost, and minds, to get to the next level and to accomplish their goals, and thus to have a bigger impact in the world, right? Because again, it's all about how can we have the bigger impact for the limited time and whatever else that we have. And so as a result of that, two entities were created. One is Lives Amplified Foundation, and that's NGO, nonprofit. This is where nonprofit related matters, and we help develop policies. We work with organizations around the world, and academic institutions, its leaders, etc., and of course, get involved with events, spending around the United Nations, a World Economic Forum, etc. And then the other entity is a business entity that does a lot of financing for nonprofit arm and generates cash flows for that, and that's Global Leader Society, called Lives Amplified. And this is where we put together amazing events, and And the focus there, as I said, is just to help our members get to the next level, and whether it's the personal, professional, business, and that's done basically through providing unique access and connections. You're absolutely correct. And so we do that kind of in three main ways. One is we've been putting together very elegant, beautiful events in all most famous and recognized places. And it's always high caliber networking, and we always have some of the largest family offices of the world, venture capital, hedge funds, executives of multinationals. But the idea was not to make it stuffy, So we do have professionals, we do have startups who are trying to get to that next level. And this was a big focus because everyone, whether you're a startup or multi-billionaire, everybody wants kind of something next, right? So, in every single event, we've had a president or prime minister of a country as a special guest of honor. And it's not the situation the way you usually find. If you come to an event where a president speaks, they give a speech and then they kind of bolt out. So, because these are all members of the society too, so they always hang out and answer questions and form relationships, take pictures. There's a lot of videos and on the website, so people could see.
Yeah, I might play one once you're done here. I'm gonna.
Yeah. So and we always have special experiences. So in one event, let's say if we do, I believe in April we met in Argentinian waterfront steakhouse. So it was a beautiful venue. So we had Argentinian tango show, and time before, we had fire show with black red caviar experience. And last event we did in Miami was South Beach, South Beach was amazing venue. And so we had award-winning band and Drew Estates came in as a sponsor for fine cigars, and we had some amazing spirits there. So it's always kind of to amplify both on personal and business level and relationships. Of course, it's amazing networking. The second focus is business, so in the deal flow. So because of the nature of society, its members, boards, strategic partners, anything on the local, national level, goods, services, capital raising, commodities, strategic partnership, all the way to global level opportunities, access to new markets, people interested in government contracts, and of course everything in between. And the third area, and this is the most, Bruce, there are plenty of places with some networking and even quality networking. And yes, it's amazing. It's unique access, connections, and all that stuff. But what makes it even more different and unique, I would say, and I would even say uniquely powerful, is that when members join, they don't need to walk the march of how things operate. They could create completely custom experiences for themselves, what they want, and they do that utilizing the magnet that society is. Because you put on one side people who run countries, right? Presidents, prime ministers, and other dignitaries. The other side's the capital of the world. Of course, one cannot live without the other, but together they attract everybody. Our members use that because you can't just get into the society; you have to be invited, and our members get tickets, and they could invite their potential partners, clients, etc. And of course, there are plenty of events, but people recognize that this is very unique and different. You just have to look on the website quickly, and you quickly get the idea. So we've been packed from day one, and that's been a wonderful blessing. And we created leadership opportunities, so people could serve as position of chair of a council. Council is usually their focus area, their business or nonprofit. There's opportunity for that, and that many people, by the way, live all over the world and never even come to the events, but they become members. I think there are three main reasons. One is it's highly prestigious. Not everybody gets approved, of course, on the society level, and you enter this exclusive environment, and some people, it's their biggest item on their resume that they kind of showcase, even if they served in major capacities in the government or private enterprises. Another one, that people could participate in business and deal flow without ever coming to events. There's separate membership for that. And the third is, and that's very interesting, some of our members actually taking a lead to create events in their countries, towns, and they use the society as a magnet to attract exactly whom they want to do business with, right? Potential clients, again, parties, and we support it, and we're flying global leadership to kind of magnify their impact, and it works in amazing ways. Just to give you one of the latest examples, one of our members in the society, just recently, a few years ago, entered into real estate arena in South Florida, and was, really wanted to connect with the biggest players. And, these things usually take 5, 10, 15 years if you get lucky, right? The biggest developers. And, she became a member, and instead of reaching out as, hi, my name is this and this, so I'm a member of Lives Amplified, and we're going to be putting an event together on real estate development. We had the biggest builders, the biggest developers, some of the biggest players in financing investments, government representative, and also from global, smart city development. And all these people, I mean, they were grateful to the member because, it should create opportunity for them to participate. Wonderful lady, her name is Isha, and it worked for everybody, and it worked for other members. So this is, that's the idea, to serve as a platform for people to take advantage of it, right? And those who are motivated, who are energized, this is the uniquely powerful tool. And one thing that, and something that I should probably address, people may think, oh my goodness, I could never become part of it, I could never afford this. And this is, we walk the talk in terms of accessibility. So we subsidize memberships heavily. Those of you who are familiar with private organizations, including Tiger 21s of the world, you don't have to pay 80, 100, 150,000 a year to have access to the events. It's actually like on the personal level, the membership starts from 3,500, and you have access to all our general events. It's that simple. We subsidize it, and the deal flow subsidizes it because, again, we want to create access, but just bear some, and that's for the entire year, by the way. And the events were in Florida, New York, and again, the plan is, and the events are being prepared all over the world. So, and of course, there are higher level memberships, people who want something more exclusive, connections to investors or meeting with certain individuals. Then, memberships run all the way to 50, 100,000, but most people don't need this. And you can't really apply anyway, by the way, directly there. You have to become a general member first. And there's a corporate membership there as well, which is, again, a tiny fraction what anybody would expect. And then, based on the experience, people get invited to higher level membership. So it's quite unique. It's quite amazing. And one more thing I wanted to quickly mention, we kicked off Society Forums, which is incredible. They're online, by the way. These are Zoom calls, video calls every month. And this is also an opportunity for people without flying anywhere, travel anywhere, to meet, to participate, to discuss. But we use this forum in a way that is very powerful. It's not simply networking or discussion of business. This is where our business leaders, entrepreneurs are able to share their pain and suffering with those who are in the same shoes, who understand them better than anybody else. Because, this role of a leader, we can't really talk to employees or clients. We got to, march the march and do the talk, but sometimes we all need to talk to others. And it's been very powerful so far, and people share their experiences, perspective, which was mind-blowing, actually, to see. So, and that's been happening every month. And there are some, sometimes for general events, we have some guest passes as well. So, yeah.
Very awesome. So it's interesting. I want to play the video. I'm going to play the video in a second, and then I want to talk a little bit more even about how it works, because the Lives Amplified is as well, the way you have the structure, you are incentivized to help people succeed as well. Everybody does like the events. You and I both know that. It's a nice reel that you have here on the website. Let's watch that, and then we'll circle back.
My name is Russ Wilcox, and I'm CEO of Artifacts AI. I think that this is a marvelous society to do good for the world. If we take a look at institutions like the UN, they have good intentions, but they lack the capital. Here at Lives Amplified, we're able to bring together folks from a variety of different backgrounds, both from the private equity side, from the AI side, from the development side, from the philanthropy side, to really create an ecosystem that can change the world. I think this is an absolutely phenomenal event. I think that the camaraderie is great, but it's amplified by the intellectual diversity by the philanthropic side, by the money side. I think there's such an opportunity here. I joined as an individual member a few weeks ago, and I will be joining as a corporate member before the end of the year. This was the first event I've been to, and I was just blown away at every level, and I cannot wait to participate more.
My name is Diego Ojeda. I am a real estate developer. I am the president of a family business called Rylea Group, based in Miami, Brooklyn. The society is a very interesting organization, and it's a real pleasure to be a part of it and to be able to have the opportunity to be on the panel. Really, to me, it was the mix of people, the backgrounds. It's amazing seeing world leaders here and ambassadors and just people of such high posts. The conversation was fantastic. Get involved. It would be a good idea to join. And you'll be a part of such an interesting network of people from around the world, not only from around the world, but that have had such high posts and that have such a large wealth of knowledge that they can share. Big people's brains here is priceless.
My name is Michael John Green. I'm the Chief of Economic Development and Strategy for the Miami DDA. I like the mix of individuals is what I liked about the event most. I think that you had dignitaries, business people, finance folks, folks in tech, and the conversation was really interesting. It also seems like everyone is really not only interested in themselves and being successful, but also making sure that everyone else is successful. I think that people who have never experienced live Amplified, I think that it's an amazing group of unique people that are rarely brought together in one spot, and the type of networking that you can do in the build of relationship, I think can last you a long time and make sure that not only you have a fruitful life, but a fruitful career. I would definitely be interested in becoming a member of the society because of the network, but also because of who the people individually are and how they're looking forward for the future of people, for the future of humanity.
My name is Honorable George Hamilton. I'm the Consul General Ambassador for Sierra Leone to Miami. I covered countries like Venezuela, Canada, Chile, Jamaica. I cover about 9 other countries. And one of the reasons I choose to be part of the honorary member is because it uplifts lives, and that's one of my positions of representing my country in Florida. And then also a remarkable network.
My name is Dr. Betty Uribe. I just finished a $358 billion turnaround in California for JP Morgan Chase. And my life changed after I spoke at the National Prayer Breakfast. And I talked to 1,600 leaders from 91 countries. I love this society. Not only is everybody aligned with the core values, but they're very successful. We have leaders here from all over the world at the highest levels. And so you get direct access. And if you think about how it would be outside of these doors to be able to get access to the kind of people that are here, it really is phenomenal. Thank you for creating this environment so that all of us can thrive.
My name is Tiffany. My name is Nia Leona Seville. I thought the society was an incredible experience.
I feel very grateful to be surrounded by such intelligent, successful people.
Mauricio Bejar with Habitat Group. We are a real estate development company here in South Florida, in Miami. It's an honor to be a part of this group. I was very impressed with the participation of the quality of the people that came to the event, the number of people as well, and how it was well organized and run. I definitely think that it will be a plus for us to be able to be a part of this selected group with the high net worth individuals, with the family offices.
My name is Johnny Ching, Dr. Johnny Ching. If you want success, this is the launch pad for going up to the moon. I met many professionals, politicians, technologists, and financiers that I would have never met on any other platform in this such short period of time. Take use the opportunity. Don't do it tomorrow. You did it yesterday.
They try. I have a small family office. The society is fantastic. You're talking to people with disparate backgrounds, different types of ideas. It's a tremendous thing if you're looking to diversify your mind and open up your mind into different thoughts. This is how you do it. Because life is about connections and who you talk to and who you know. This is a fantastic idea. Spending the time here, it gets the juices going, you know?
Excited, motivated, inspired, meeting the right people with the right energies. that speak to you at the right level. But most importantly, everyone is ambitious in a good way. They're trying to improve themselves, their lives, and it's like-minded people.
My name is Meryl Gladstone Petraccia. I founded 11 Plus Legacy Alliance, which is a company based out of the United States and works in different parts of the world. I'm excited to be a corporate member. They have blended heart with impact in such a beautiful way that it almost feels like a business home, really. What I loved about the event today was the expertise in the different areas. It's a warm place to be. It's, I love the spirit. I love the spirit of the people here and what they're here to accomplish to impact the world and elevate humanity. And it's obvious. It's not lip service. Here, this is what people are doing with their time and their lives. I'm humbled and I very much respect that. And just thank you for keeping up the work so that we can all plug in and we can amplify what it is that we're doing with you.
I am a member. I just became a member of the society, and I can't tell you how excited I am. I am a corporate member. In the moment I had a conversation with Stephen, I realized absolutely I will sign up. I signed up immediately. I put in my money, and here I am. Just a few days later, I flew in from Colombia just to be here. So, and I will never look back. This is absolutely the right time in the right place for me to bring my company and my efforts, and I'm going to be bringing other people as well.
It's amazing, and I'll tell you what, that woman, she just makes you smile, right? Every time she talks, she really has it. She really just she's really, you can tell she's a very, very special person.
Yeah, we're really blessed. The people, another reality of our lives, like we all meet a lot of good people. Wish we met more, but there's a lot of really good people. But the truth is, unless there is some bond, there is some element where we interact on a regular basis, we don't get to talk to each other. Like everybody's too busy.
Yeah.
So that's another amazing blessing for members and everybody who's involved, because number one, you meet incredible people, because it's a pre-selection process, of course, right? We want to make sure that somebody who is a good, decent human being, again, first and foremost, that they want to have an impact, they do something, and it doesn't have to be a huge thing. It could be local business, but local business is important. Everything is local, right? That's how you make a difference, or whatever you do. And the other thing I'd like to stress also, on the foundation side for nonprofits, people don't pay a penny to become members on the foundation. Lives Amplified Foundation, we completely subsidize it. So they're able not just to become members, they're able to become leaders within Lives Amplified Foundation. As I said, this is a recent phenomenon in terms of formal entity creation. So we're going to be kicking off some events. Of course, there is a firewall, right, between the foundation and the membership, private society. But at some point, there's going to be cross pollination and everything else as well. So, and we have foundations and nonprofits that are applying for membership from all over the world: the U.S., Africa, Asia, Europe, and they're able to use, without paying a dollar, a penny. This is another way we kind of give back. The society's magnet to do what they do, to help raise with funding, to engage and have bigger access to the counterparty, strategic partners, whatever they want to engage. They use the society magnet for that. And in that case, it's the foundational board. So there are all these and many more opportunities. And this is kind of, these are some of the ways that we help those who want to do good get it done, and get it done easier, faster. Because ultimately, even those who are super capable and work hard and everything else, they're gonna get there. But it's how long, right? So it's all about timing, and it's getting easier and faster, and amplifying the impact. This is our mission, and that's what you're kind of seeing, and this is why the energy of people that you see is what it is.
Yeah, well, you put that many amazing people together, and wonderful things happen. So it's also an agreement, and you're incentivized to help. So if somebody comes in, they want to raise $100 million. I mean, I even have somebody in mind. I'm going to send this recording to him. As a matter of fact, you'll probably talk to him very soon. We'll talk to him together. But he's
he's big in the gold stuff with some amazing relationships. He needs to put together 100-200 million for to rent the equipment. Basically, is what you have to do, or you buy it, one way or the other. The lines get blurred when it's that much machinery, I think. But he would know more about it than I would. So somebody like that comes in, and we are able to put him in front of the right people, and we put together a deal, and that makes everybody money, and that's an important part of this equation.
Yeah, it's I agree, and it's actually critical because again, in order to make the world go around, there's a lot of moving parts for that, but one of them is funding, right? And also, to be honest with you, what really, especially again coming from former Soviet Union, when sometimes we wouldn't have food, right? And my mother would ship me literally to her sister just to eat for a day, and the more money is made by people, again with the right minds, the more people we all could make happy, right? Because money makes a difference. Do you get access to healthcare, good nutrition, and et cetera, et cetera. It's education, everything else. So yes. And in terms of incentivizing people, we were thinking there's an enormous amount of people out there who do good, but they're not where they can be financially. And there's a lot of people also who are great connectors. They know a lot of people, right? But quite often people struggle to monetize their access and connections. And so one of the things that was on the table to kind of address, discuss, and figure out a way is to create an opportunity for people to make money, not just with what they do and for us to help them, but also with and through the society. And this is what you're referring to. So I'll be happy to elaborate on that. So society, we really, we don't really advertise. I appreciate the invitation to be in the program. It's an honor, Bruce, and it's always, as I said, a pleasure to do anything with you and to have a conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I'll tell you, I went for a morning walk with my wife. Summer we're running away from Florida into a cooler place in the mountains, but we usually go for a quick walk. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to be talking to Bruce later. She goes, Bruce Porter, with two wonderful girls, and she remembers you. You're an amazing, sweet man, and
amazing.
So yeah, and she saw the recording, whatever we did years ago. So she knows you very well, and she understood my joy because we all wired, we're all suckers for great relationships, bottom line, some of us more than others. So again, I thank God and you for the opportunity for us to speak purely on the personal level. But to answer your question, so what society did was, because it's all by invitation, it's all by kind of people kind of spreading the word. There is no real advertising, anything, at least so far, and there's no plan for anything meaningful in the near future. But when people introduce members, and again, memberships, start at a certain level, as I mentioned, but they go all the way up and up and up into 100,000 plus. These people make money on all the cash flow that comes in on the membership, plus on all the renewals, and it's 10 to 20%, which is quite meaningful. Just pure introduction, 10%. If somebody wants to be a little bit more involved, then it becomes 20%, which again, depending on the person's situation, etc. If they want to talk about society, give a link, etc. So we even have accounting firm that is on retainer, and all they do, they send out wires, which is pretty cool, and makes us very happy. Some of the happiest moments, by the way, when people who would never expect, and it happens all the time, all of a sudden, say, oh, by the way, we need your wire instruction, and there's going to be money coming in, and quite often it's quite substantial. And on top of that, society, one of the reasons we're able to subsidize our membership level, so people don't have to pay what they would think they would need to pay, is because society gets an interest, has a percentage of the business that happens within society, right? So people expand their business, whatever they do, get money. So society gets a percentage of that, and whoever introduces that business gets percentage. Society gets Again, it varies depending on transaction, whatever, but the person gets 10% of whatever comes into society who introduced the deal, right? And I'll tell you something even more. What we've done is, some people are highly connected, so they bring a lot of, they introduce people, they create these group chats, and they put together their own Zooms, and they ask me to come in to just talk briefly. But some people don't know anybody. They may know just one person, right? But who's like yourself, highly connected, right? And if that person introduces, let's say, you, and you're the one who introduces all these business opportunities and members and sponsors, strategic partners, well, you would be the one making, or whoever that person is, making this 10, 20%, etc. But the person who introduced you receives 10% of anything that you or whoever else makes, right? So again, and it gets substantial, and it is all including on the business side of it and membership, and it's all ongoing, and that's how. And it's all on the record, everybody else, and we have write-ups on this also. So that's very exciting to people from all over the world, because now they're able to not just grow their businesses, not just raise capital, not just access amazing people, and have a great time while doing it, and have all these experiences, but at the same time also start making money just purely by bringing wonderful information and news, because people are always grateful, no matter what it is. And I think it's a no-brainer. The world doesn't, society is not a secret, but the world doesn't know about it. So when people learn about it from somebody, they're always grateful. It's a major value somebody delivers. And serious people, serious business people tend to become members, do some business, sponsorship, whatever. Then these people also make money, and it's on an ongoing basis. So it's been a wonderful additional blessing to create these cash flow opportunities, and it's really passive cash flow and ongoing. Once somebody gets introduced, they just collect funding. So real blessing, and would bring a lot of joy, smiles, and money into people's accounts, which is really cool.
Well, I can attest to it as well firsthand. So that is it is something that is it is remarkable, and the amounts are considerable. So I think it's an important part about it. I wanted to bring it up. For the average person that is going to want to join, they're going to want to come in, they're going to want to build their business, they're going to want to meet people that may not be part of your business plan. But for some people, that's going to be quite possibly a remarkable situation. And so I wanted to bring it up. And it's great that you guys share like that, because it shows that it's about growing. In order to grow, it's like I tell the guys, they start their companies and they have all these coins, or they have all these stocks and this and that and the other. And you have to get those coins, you have to get those stocks out to the people. Otherwise, you can never grow. And that's and so that's important.
Yeah, there are many ways to grow, by the way, in many unexpected ways. I mean, to be honest with you, some of our members actually, it was never ever discussed. Okay, but we also have, for a certain level of membership, more exclusive experiences and access, of course, right? And some of our members became members of royal courts already, and it's just, I mean, it was completely unexpected, but there was an event. We had some government representatives there, and and kingdom, and one thing after the other within a very short period of time. So I mean, that's kind of on one side, but the other side, I also wanted to tell you, we do have members that are just professionals, and when I say just, meaning, because I don't want to give a sense that this is only for these major companies or wealthy people. Absolutely not. In fact, we work very hard not to make it stuffy. A lot of our members also, and we keep getting that feedback, because good ideas, nobody has monopoly of good ideas, and these investors also, hedge funds. One of our members, I don't want to use names because it's a private society, but some of these people on our videos, you played one video, there's our events covered by many different videos, and you could actually meet him. I just don't want to say exactly, but major venture capitalist, and he said, Steve, I also want, this is why one of the reasons I love the society, because it's a beautiful, amazing mix, and some people just trying to get into the business world, they may not know how to do it, they may not have the capital to do it, but they have a brilliant idea, and I want to meet these people because I want to fund their dreams if it makes sense. That's what we do. So I want to make sure, and this is important point to stress, that it's not, and also it's been priced, to make sure that practically anybody could afford this, and we even provide payment plans, to support. As crazy it may sound too, to break whatever, just to help people get there while covering. And as I said, in the foundation for nonprofits, they don't pay a penny, and it just have to be approved. Unfortunately, there's too many nonprofits that look and sound like nonprofit, but there is nothing happening there, and that's frankly speaking my experience. Unfortunately, vast majority of them. But if we see something real and we see some activity, we want to support it, and this is where they don't spend a penny. We just help them gain this next level of access connections by them using the foundation, again, the uniquely, amazingly powerful magnet to attract to them whom they want to attract, including investors, funders, sponsors, strategic partners, et cetera, et cetera.
Amazing. Well, I want this to fit in to an hour-long segment, so I think that we'll call it for today. We're going to be talking a lot more. Lives Amplified, guys. Make sure to check them out. livesamplified.com.
We're in Miami, on our way to the Trump International for the Global Family Office Investment Summit. Guys, stay tuned. This is our Lambo for the shoot we're going to do. So that'll be fun.
Submit or formalize these kind of transactions. I met with French Hill, who's like a gentleman. Well, gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. You can find each of these guys and talk to them. I'm telling you, their wealth of information.
All right, we're in front of the Lambo. Hold that. Hit stop for a second.
Bruce, what's up, man? I knew I'd see you here at the Global Family Investor Summit.
Yeah, man, this is the place to be at the Trump International Resort. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. So I hear you're raising some big money.
All right, yeah. So we just launched our new energy fund. So we're here to raise $100 million.
$100 million. Well, this is the place to do it. Global Family Office Investment Summit. All the big money is here.
That's right. That's why we're here.
But George, I want to introduce you to Crypto Gal. She knows all the inside cuts on the family office events.
All right. Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you. So what brings you to the summit?
We just launched our energy fund, and we're here raising capital for our newest venture.
Awesome. I have the perfect strategy to help you raise money while we're here at the summit. I'm super excited. We should talk. What's up, Brandy? I haven't seen you in forever.
I know, it's been since back in Jersey. Tell me what's new.
Well, I have some new clients. I actually wanted to talk to you about getting them on Global Boost because I know you have a huge reach when it comes to crypto and TV.
Yeah, fantastic. Let me introduce you to the guys right away. They're right over there.
Hey, Vin!
Hi. Do you know that our public sale is 40% achieved over the last 7 days?
That's amazing. You know, with what you're doing with ESG and the Mindwave DAO, I think this family office event is the perfect place for us.
Bruce, we need the strategy now.
I have the perfect person for us, Crypto Gal. Meet Crypto Gal.
I love Bitcoin yield generation. Neela would be a perfect fit. Since Neela is ESG compliant and yield generates Bitcoin, it's a perfect fit.
Bruce, these deals are really coming together.
Anthony Ritosa pulled out all the stops on this one. There's so much money in the room, and the quality of everything is so high.
Ben hit it, George hit it, and we are hitting our goals. That's why I love it here.
It's going to be fun, guys. If you have not made the time to come in and see us, well, that's all right. We'll tune you in. We'll keep you posted, so to speak, because keep in mind, Global Boost Media is a place that's going to broadcast and showcase so many neat investing products, people, and opportunities that you can learn about and be a part of. Maybe you're a family office. Maybe you're just some CEO and you say, hey, I have an idea. I'm a founder and I want some coverage. I want to be seen. I want to tell my story and get people out there. Hit up Global Boost Media and maybe we'll give you a chance to tell your story.